Good evening, everyone, or good morning, wherever you are tuning in from. And my name is Angeline, and welcome back to Let's Break the Silence with Angeline. I'm your host today, and I am so excited about today's episode. So we're diving into a topic that doesn't get nearly enough attention: sexual health, intimacy, and alignment. So joining me is the incredible Jacqui Olliver. She is the founder and developer of Psychosexual Alignment, a revolutionary method that restores sexual function, deepens intimacy, and boosts confidence in relationships. Jacqui's work addresses sexual challenges like premature ejaculation, erectile dysfunction, low libido, and even difficulties with reaching orgasm, all while helping people feel calm, focused, and fully connected without relying on drugs or therapy. And we're also going to touch on Jacqui's involvement in the Change book series, which is all about personal empowerment and transformation. And we're going to talk about how it has impacted her life and mission. This is going to be an empowering and eye-opening conversation, so stay tuned as we break the silence on topics that deserve a louder voice. So without further ado, I'm going to bring on Jacqui, and then here we go.
Just like magic, it happened. Thank you so much for being here.
Hi, Jacqui. How are you?
I'm really good, and that was an amazing introduction. Thank you so much.
Oh, you're
made
welcome.
Me look good.
You're welcome. It's a pleasure. I always ask my guests, what time is it where you are right now?
Where I am is 7:06 in the morning. I'm actually in Vietnam at the moment.
Wow, that's amazing. That's the power of social media, is
it's
being
wonderful.
Able to connect.
Fantastic.
Yes, and it's 7:06 p.m. here in Florida. So weather's finally warming up here in the sunshine state of Florida. So before we dive into this eye-opening topic, there is something that I found that has changed my life. And what I want to talk about is building your mental wealth in 2025. So this company found me on my podcast, and I love the product. It's called Magic Mind. And before they reached out to me, I was struggling. I had some mental health challenges. I was struggling with burnout from a full-time job, overwhelm. I had lack of focus, and I hit a wall. And I couldn't focus, and my sleep was terrible. I was waking up feeling anxious, and it just getting through the day. But guess what? I found this product that has changed my life. So think of, what is mental wealth? What is mental wealth? Okay. It's about investing in habits today that build your resilience for future challenges. So it's like creating a mental savings account. You can withdraw from it when life gets tough. So the 5 pillars are sleep, diet, exercise, stress management, and exogenous compounds. So I want to talk about the sleep, because the sleep auxiliary product has really, really changed my life. I take 1 shot in the evening, and I get 8 hours of sleep, and I'm really, I'm so happy because I feel so much calmer, and it's helped me wind down after just 3 nights of use. Okay. So for the first time, the 24, the focus and sleep shots bundled for the first time is at a 45% off exclusive on my link. So let me post the link right now. Okay. So you can get 45% off the Magic Mind bundle with my link. So go to magicmind.com/break silence JAN. And I would love your support. And thank you so much. So now we're going to dive in. We're going to talk about Jacqui now and this incredible mission that she has. So first of all, what inspired you to create this revolutionary method, and what impact have you seen it have on people's lives?
So I experienced sexual challenges myself for a long period of time, and that eventually impacted my partner as well, and he started experiencing erectile dysfunction. And then after he unexpectedly passed, I felt compelled to figure out the answers, because I sure as heck didn't want to keep suffering with these issues, and it really affects your ability to feel connected in a relationship and to even go into a relationship. So if you're starting anew and you've got a sexual function challenge, it's going to hold you back from feeling confident to becoming intimate with a partner. You'll get to a certain point, and then it's like, oh, actually, sex is going to be on the cards really soon. Maybe I'll just step back and play it safe, really. Yeah,
Right.
so
Right.
I realized that when he died, I wanted to be able to live fully. You get a big wake-up call when someone close to you dies, as
Oh,
you know.
yeah. When did that happen? When did he pass?
That was when I was 34 years old, which is a long time ago now.
A long time ago.
So,
Yeah.
yeah, so, yeah, but through that experience, I didn't want to keep feeling broken. I felt broken at the time. And then what I've realized in my process is that I wasn't broken. I was just missing knowledge. I just needed to be able to restart my life and to restart my sex life. And I developed a method that has enabled thousands of people to do that as well, and to realize that it's not a life sentence.
Exactly. I'm glad you said that. Yes, it's not a life sentence. Absolutely. Absolutely. I mean, this is totally revolutionary. So, can you explain what psychosexual alignment is and how it differs from traditional approaches to resolving sexual challenges? Because we know that the doctors in the medical field, they prescribe drugs or whatever you want to call it.
Band-aids, also
Right.
known as Band-aids.
Band-aid, the Band-aid approach. The Band-aid approach, yes. So what sets you apart from them? Let's talk about that.
Right. So psychosexual alignment addresses sexual dysfunction in men and women, and it reprograms your brain to enhance sexual confidence and performance. It's a simple and effective method, and it actually bypasses the frustration and the confusion of traditional approaches by aligning your mental focus, your nervous system, and the physical response during intimacy. So by correcting your focus between yourself, your partner, and the actions of sex, you send your brain the right signals, and that avoids all the confusion.
Ah, okay. Okay. Because we talk a lot about neuroscience and balancing the brain. So how does balancing the brain and nervous system play a role in overcoming issues like erectile dysfunction or low libido?
Well, these problems tend to arise from the brain receiving incorrect or inconsistent signals. So it's not maintaining the erection, or it's sending too many arousing signals and going straight from the erection to ejaculation,
Right.
or it becomes disrupted. So it's really a lack of understanding about how the brain and the body work together during sex. And our brain requires very clear and consistent signals to orchestrate everything. We give it the right signals and it's done for us. Everything works perfectly.
See?
But
okay.
these signals become disrupted by wrong focus, can I use the term misinformation, which is generally wrong information,
There you go.
or anxiety. And any of those things trigger problems.
Okay. And people struggle with anxiety, they struggle. And actually many people struggle with discussing sexual health openly. So why is it important to break the stigma around this topic? I say break the silence on this topic, because it's so important for us to talk about it, because so many people feel uncomfortable talking.
It's perfect. It's absolutely perfect. I love the name of your podcast.
Thank you. That's what it is. Let's break the silence. We're breaking the silence right now.
So, absolutely. Yeah. It's like people, we don't like admitting that we have problems, and we think we're broken. We have any kind of problem, we think we're broken and everyone else is fine. And yet the statistics kind of indicate otherwise, because around 40% of people, whether it's yourself or friends or colleagues, are suffering from these problems in silence, and they don't know that there's a method that can help them. So we all deserve to feel happy and fulfilled in the bedroom, and happy and fulfilled in our lives. And it's really mentally draining and frustrating having these problems, especially if your partner also has these problems. And with really high statistics, there's a really good chance that both of you are suffering, and we've got to eliminate that. So it's about overcoming feelings of inadequacy. It's about the stress, the disconnection, the isolation. These problems make us feel so isolated. And so we want to change that. We want to generate happy and fulfilling and connected relationships in our life with our partner on every level. And we want to be able to do that regardless of our age. And this is what this method enables us to do, regardless of age. I'll tell you about that later.
Oh, I love that. See? Never too old. You're never too old. And when you talk about restoring intimacy in relationships, can you share some examples or success stories of how psychosexual alignment has transformed relationships?
All right. So I've got lots of success stories because restoring sexual function, it enhances the connection and the relationship satisfaction. And so, okay, what have we got? We've got Nick, who approached me. He had chronic premature ejaculation, would ejaculate within seconds of penetration. And then he reported being able to stay in control and at a really good pace. So that's a problem with premature ejaculation, is any sort of movement and boom, there's that hypersensitivity. So he got rid of that immediately. Then there was David, who experienced erectile problems, and he had a lot of health issues. He had tried a lot of drugs, a lot of therapy, tried everything, and he was able to restore full sexual function.
That's good. See?
But the bestest absolute story is Jean, who defied societal expectations and medical skepticism by reaching her first orgasm at 76 years old.
Wow.
So she was someone who was like me, how I was. She was unable to orgasm at all, like never orgasmed in her entire life. And then after her session with me, she was able to orgasm and during intercourse.
Oh my goodness, it's 76.
76 years old. So these stories highlight how clients can overcome their problems through knowledge, through emotional regulation and practical techniques.
That's amazing.
So you know it, that when you have the right knowledge and the right techniques, it changes everything.
Sure,
absolutely everything.
Absolutely. It does change everything. Absolutely. I commend her. Wow. I'll sign up for that. How's that? You heard it at YouTube, okay? All right.
Much
But
more
anyway,
fun than wondering if if you left the oven on, or what you're
yeah,
going to do at work the next day. You just feel connected with your partner and excited to engage intimately. If you have these problems, you don't feel excited to engage. You feel
how can
nervous and
you? How can
anxious
you
and
when that,
stressed.
right? Because that emotional connection is not there.
Mm.
Yeah. Yeah. And people, like a lot of women or men who are in marriages for a long time, they tend to lose it, or there's just no connection. You know what I mean? Yeah, no emotion.
Absolutely. It's totally stressful, and especially as we get older, because we tend to think that our bodies are going to stop working. But they don't. You just need
Right.
to apply the right knowledge and technique, and even things like vaginal dryness, which older women experience, they can be resolved
There you go. There you
simply
go.
by engaging your mental focus, balancing your nervous system, and it affects the physical response. It's great.
Exactly. Absolutely. 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 So, and I love the fact that your method avoids relying on drugs or traditional therapy. So, what would you
Yes.
say to someone skeptical about this approach, meaning your approach versus the traditional?
Well, understanding how your focus impacts arousal and the body's nervous system in general, the body's responses, you can experience real lasting results for yourself. So, this is about practical, actionable techniques that you can apply immediately, and it affects influences your brain in real time.
There you go.
So it
There you
affects
go.
your body, it influences your brain, and that influences your body real time. So, as an example, some people will take drugs, and then, like erection enhancing drugs, and then he'll worry about the problem, and then activate the sympathetic nervous system fight flight response,
Right.
and he loses the erection or ejaculates early, just depending on what the brain decides to go from go into fight flight and just shut down the sexual programs, because obviously they're not needed if you're running away.
Right. Right. Exactly.
So also, I'm totally confident in my process. So I offer 100% money back guarantee for my sex mastery program.
That's great. And how long is the program?
The program takes around 2 to 3 hours to go through from start to finish, and you
Okay.
get everything you need to solve male and female sexual dysfunction.
I love that.
So this is solving it for both partners, because there's a certain lack of sex education that goes around that's actually like relevant to engaging sexually. So we don't
Right.
know what we're supposed to focus on, which means that we learn through trial and error.
Mm,
And that's where problems happen, because
right.
we've got no solid knowledge to reference the problem against. Whereas if you understand the problems, what causes the problems with regard to how you're focusing your attention between yourself, your partner, and the actions of sex,
Right.
and then you understand the rules of the game, like the playing field, and you play the game within those boundaries, then it gets to be so much fun, because you can feel yourself moving up and down the arousal scale. You can recognize when you've become disengaged, and you just re-engage, because you know where to put your focus, what actions you need to focus on to either
Exactly.
increase arousal or decrease arousal. And it just becomes such a balanced and engaging, mutually engaging. Your partner knows that you desire sex because they can feel that you're there with them. Whereas when you've got a problem, you disengage, and your partner feels that as well. And
Right.
then they're wondering
Exactly.
why you're disengaging and what they're doing. And that just creates that cascade of effects where there's a disconnection, the brain goes into fight flight because you trigger the stress response, and then things stop happening, or things happen that the way that you don't want them to.
Right. Exactly. Interesting. And what steps can couples take to begin improving their sexual function and intimacy today? And have you had clients who are not married, meaning they just live together?
Yes, I'll start with that one because I have the full spectrum of ages, and so my oldest was 76. Actually, the oldest was 84. He had an erectile dysfunction problem, and I solved that. And then I've also had clients at 18, wow. 18 years old, men at 18 years old with erectile dysfunction problems. So this isn't specifically a physical problem. It's a wrong focus issue. If you give your brain the wrong signals, it's not going to respond with the right programs.
That's true.
Right? So there is no age barrier to solving these problems. And also, whether you're male, female, in a relationship, or you're single, if you're single, this is a great time to solve these issues. You don't need a partner to solve the issues. You don't need a partner to practice. Because once your brain has the knowledge it needs and you correct your focus in real time, then you don't experience these problems.
Right.
And when I say when you don't experience these programs, it's really what's happening at the moment is your brain has the wrong program stored for sex. It's just confused, it's muddled. Whereas the sex mastery program explains things step by step, so you start with a good understanding. Oh, right, so if I do that, that happens. If I do that, that happens. Actually, if I do that, that doesn't happen, and that's what I want to happen.
Right, that's what you want.
So you're covering all of the bases, and then I'll give you the rules of engagement so you can go out and play.
There you go.
And you can feel yourself moving up and down that arousal scale consciously, and consciously being able to do that. That's the fun thing. So you're not broken. You're just using the wrong approach.
There you go.
That's point one. Point two is that you need to have direction. So what does satisfying sex look like to you? What does it feel like? If you're having amazing sex, how do you feel inside? Are you happy? Are you inspired? You're feeling engaged? You want to set your mental focus, your mental compass in that direction, so that you're not constantly triggering that fight-flight response just thinking about sex.
Exactly.
And then the third point is to get out of your head, because if you're in your head, you're going to go back into worry. You're going to overthink the process. So you need to get out of your head with the right knowledge and techniques and move forward. You need to engage in the moment, because when you're using your nervous system to engage, and we've got a more evolved aspect of our nervous system where we're engaging with a potential problem, we're gathering more information, we're staying in the moment, so we're able to continue our full cognitive function. So everything goes offline when you're in fight or flight. You can't remember anything.
Right.
So you want to restore your emotional equilibrium, and you know so much about that, and
sure.
That's what you do. You help people restore their emotional equilibrium.
Exactly.
So then, and the right mindset, so that they can go forward with confidence. Then it's a matter of understanding the techniques so that you can stay in balance. And your community, I love that you create a community of trust for people. That's just brilliant.
Oh, I do. Yes, absolutely. It's amazing. It's growing and evolving. And I feel so happy and blessed that community's been there for 6 years. So
wow, that's so cool.
Yeah, 6 years. So in fact, I'm in my 6th season of my podcast. So it's consistency. It's showing up. And that includes taking breaks too, because life happens, or I moved, but I still stayed consistent. So
yes, absolutely. So your brain is rewired by consistency. So you need that focus. You need to give it a new direction that's different from what you don't want. You want to focus on what you do want. So you're creating more of that, and then moving forward in that direction, little incremental steps every day, refocusing your attention so you're not imagining the problem every day.
Yeah. Exactly. And some people have a tough time with that. It's rewiring.
We all do.
Yeah.
we all do to a point. And that's why it's great to work with someone who's already been there, done that, knows all the shortcuts, so you don't have to go through the years of suffering that we did.
Oh, exactly. Absolutely.
Trying to figure all these things out for you.
Exactly. Absolutely. This is an amazing conversation and eye-opening. Now what I want to talk about is the Change Book Series. So the Change Book Series movement is, and that's how we met, that's how we connected, is in 32 countries. And I had the pleasure of connecting with you, and we were talking, and I said, I have to connect with Jacqui. So can you tell us about your experience and how it has shaped your personal and professional growth? And how did Jim Britt find you and Jim Lutz? How did they reach out to you, or what was going on with that?
Yeah, so they reached out to me. So when they reached out to me, and I actually missed the email, it didn't arrive directly in my personal inbox, and I was just cleaning up my inbox, and I saw this invite, and I was like, oh my God, that came through like 2 weeks ago. I probably missed it. And I freaked out, and then I got on and I replied, and I said, yes, this sounds amazing. Tell me more. And so initially I thought I was writing about sharing my knowledge on sexual function. And what I realized was that, well, it's similar to what you're doing. I realized that I'm helping people realize that they're not broken.
Exactly. They're not broken.
Yeah. And so in writing that chapter, it reinforced that truth for me as well. So that was really powerful. And like collaborating with the other authors is just wonderful, because it means that I can reach more people. So many people think that they're broken sexually, that it's a lifelong curse, and yet it's not. You just need the right knowledge and techniques. So the change is about getting to know other authors who have contributed a chapter and seeing how we can work together to help more people know about what we do, so that we can help more people, and the world becomes a better place through people feeling more happy and connected and engaged in their lives.
Exactly. I mean, it's a movement, we're changing the narrative. And the Change Book Series, I'm in book 21. So what what series are you in?
I was in book 13.
Oh, geez.
Which I think was around about, I don't know, 9 years ago or something like that.
Oh, see, that's
8 or 9 years ago. Yeah, it was. It was such a liberating experience. And I've been offered speaking engagements overseas, numerous contacts with people who have been impacted by the Change series.
Wow.
They've been inspired to reach out or find out more about my program. And then I've had people like you, Angeline, who want to make an impact in the world.
Of course, that's what it's all about.
And people are realizing, especially with everything that's going on in the world at the moment, people are realizing that it's about collaboration. When we're working together, we're stronger. Like when we have a community, we're there to support each other. And like you do
Exactly.
in your community, and I have a mates community where people can access their sex mastery program, but to also share their wins, their struggles, and everything in between.
Exactly. Exactly. That's what we do. Yes, absolutely. We share our struggles. That's what it's all about, building a community, a trusted
Absolutely.
community. And in the Change Book series, I've had the pleasure of meeting Jim Lutz.
Oh,
I
wow,
spoke at
cool.
2 years ago in December, I spoke at his deep dive mastermind event. And I shared my story, and everyone was like, oh my goodness, people from all over the world flew in, from all over the country. And now, like, MSN.com reached out to me 2 weeks ago. So I'm going to be featured in an article, and it opens up doors. It does. It
It does.
opens up like no other movement that I see.
I think also it inspires you to take action. And
There you
with
go. There
the
you
with
go.
the support that you get from Jim Britt and Jim Lutz and the training, oh my gosh, the monthly training and one-on-one calls, it's massive. It's absolutely massive. The value that you get is incredible.
I agree.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And we have once a month
Yes.
masterminds. We're colleagues.
And that's how we met.
And that's how we met when I was on the mastermind call. I'm like, Jacqui, I said, I got to reach out to her because
Yeah,
they encourage collaboration. And that's what I love about it. That's what I
yes.
love about it. We're not competing against each other. We are collaborating and working together.
Because everyone has a piece of the puzzle. Everyone has an insight. Absolutely everyone has insights from their life experience that
Right.
we haven't experienced. And sometimes just sharing your story, sharing your experience, it is sometimes just hearing someone else's story is enough to pick someone up emotionally
Right.
and just lift them over the hurdle they're currently experiencing, especially when they understand that they're not broken. Oh, this person has overcome this challenge. I'm
Right.
going through that challenge. Oh, hang on a minute. There is an answer here. Oh, and that helps to refocus that person's direction. So now instead of being embroiled in the problem, they're now refocusing their attention in a new direction. And that's going to be great because it's going to activate the feel-good hormones rather than activating the stress hormones all the time.
Right, exactly. Exactly. And they've been conditioned to believe that they're broken. Whether
Well,
it's
a
domestic
lot of
violence.
times traditional approaches mainstream. It's like the educational system teaches us to stick with the conventional path.
Exactly.
And those answers are often from years ago. And yet, through working together with other people, we have these conversations with other people. Even
Right.
in our client conversations, we have these aha moments where we find ourselves saying something in a completely different way that was like, oh my gosh, that was amazing. That it's a new way of explaining something that clarifies it. So we're constantly clarifying what we understand about a problem through engaging with others, through collaborating with others. It's through engaging with other people that we have new ideas, new insights, new breakthroughs for humanity, to uplift humanity.
Exactly. Exactly.
And so these conventional approaches, they're often outdated, whereas the new approaches, if you have to get clinical studies, clinical trials, that sort of thing, it takes years. And so there are a lot of breakthrough methods that are really helping to empower people on a massive level that work immediately, that the Change series is opening people's eyes to. So there's being involved in the change as a change maker when you have a message to give to the world. But then there's also when you're at the point of discovering who you are and finding your message and finding your purpose. And when you take that step to get out of your comfort zone, well, that's where all the best fruit is, right?
Exactly.
That's where you experience the life that you were meant to experience. And that's where you feel like you have purpose and you actually feel like you're here to do something. And so the change is a really great avenue to explore when you're at that point of moving forward, and then you're really wanting to move forward at an accelerated rate.
Exactly. Absolutely. I totally agree with you. It's changed my life. And I've collaborated with so many co-authors, and we're colleagues. We're colleagues and friends, and they've built an amazing community. So I feel blessed to be in the Change Book series. So it's a huge blessing because we connected. And again,
Yes.
That is the power of social media. So what advice would you give to someone who is hesitant to embrace change, whether in their personal lives, relationships, or health? Because there are people out there who are resistant to change. So how can they embrace it instead of resisting?
Well, we resist when we're unsure or we're uncertain. And it's really about realizing that you're not broken for a start. We've come to that realization.
Right.
If you're not broken, then what is the challenge here? Well, I'm not broken, so that means that I can resolve this issue.
Right, exactly.
Okay, now, if I'm working with someone who knows how to deal with the emotional aspect, then I'm going to learn how to stop triggering myself, which is making me hold back from fully engaging in life because it's safe.
Right.
I want to tell you that when you are able to signal your nervous system that you're safe, that's when you can make massive changes in your life and experience an extraordinary life. Right. Where you can live your purpose, where your purpose will be revealed to you, like mine was. My partner unexpectedly died, and I'm like, oh, this wasn't part of the plan.
Wow,
and
yeah,
here I am.
Sure.
Here I am. If that hadn't have happened, we might have still been struggling with sexual problems.
See that?
Right. So you never know what the next step in your journey is going to bring to you. And if you make a conscious step, if you're choosing to consciously move forward, then the next step is going to be revealed to you. And then the next step.
Right.
And if you surround yourself with a community of like-minded people, like-minded is other people who are stepping out of their comfort zone, moving forward.
Exactly.
Gaining new knowledge, learning how to drive their bodies mentally, emotionally, physically, sexually, whatever it is that whichever way you're looking to empower yourself. You just got to keep moving forward and engage in the moment, because if you're engaging in the moment, you're giving your brain signals in real time, you're gathering new information, and eventually that's going to overwrite all of those bad programs and bad habits that you've collected over the years.
That's right.
And you're going to experience change.
Exactly. Good change. Exactly. I love that. I love that you touched on that. So what I wanted to ask you was, for listeners who might feel intimidated or ashamed of seeking help, how would you encourage them to take that first step? And I'm talking about intimacy and sexual health.
Okay. Well, when we face our challenges, and we make it through to the other side, we start to believe that we can do anything. And this has been shown so many times by men and women who have gone through the Sex Mastery program, and they're like, oh my God, this is incredible. I thought that I was stuck with this problem for life, and yet here I am having great sex. It's like there's intimacy, there's engagement, my partner's happy, we just feel so content and cuddle up after sex. So if you're wanting to feel that way, you've got to do something different to what you're doing now, and that requires changing your focus.
There you go. I love that.
And you can't change your focus, you can't correct your focus until you know what the requirements are for that. So when it comes to sexual function, you need to be giving your brain signals that are relevant to engaging intimately. Exactly. So many women will become distracted. That's our biggest problem, becoming distracted and just start thinking random thoughts completely unrelated to sex. So looking at this logically, how does our brain know we want an orgasm? It doesn't, right? So we need to know how to balance our sexual focus between ourselves, so we have awareness of our own sensation. But if you're male, you don't want too much awareness because that may cause you to ejaculate.
Right.
We want a balance between ourselves, our partner, the actions of fulfilling our partner, the action of feeling connected with our partner, engaging with our partner. But we want to balance that as well, because for females, that part's easy. But for a male, he needs to stay hard and in control. He's got to walk a tightrope. He needs to give certain amount of acceleration and not, and crash land there, but just to accelerate and then de-accelerate a little bit. And that can be done by adjusting how he focuses attention on his partner.
Right.
And that's where the actions of sex come in. The actions of sex it's about your technique, it's about your rhythm, it's about your balance, it's about your positioning, it's about your overall approach to sex. Because arousal can start just by thinking about it. And many guys that experience premature ejaculation, they've hyper-stimulated themselves by giving their brain too many arousing signals before they've even been touched by a partner. So when that touch, boom, there's the ejaculation that occurs. So understanding the parameters of the sexual arousal scale and how to have a whole lot of fun in between those parameters is my area of expertise.
Okay. Right, exactly. So let's talk about your program, okay? And the bonus strategy session. Let's talk about that for a minute. So what does that look like? Yes.
So I initially have a complimentary course where in just 15 minutes, you're going to have actionable steps and a clear understanding of how to take charge of your brain to resolve sexual function challenges, that's male and female. And for a limited time, I'm also offering a 20-minute complimentary strategy session valued at $197, so that, that's including the course, so that you can take charge of your body, take charge of your mind, get a foundation to get started on restoring sex mastery. So whether it's a frustration of not being able to last long enough or maintain an erection, or for the ladies to fully enjoy sex and be able to orgasm, these challenges don't define your potential to enjoy a relationship or to enjoy your life.
Okay.
Right? That's really important. So it's really, the solution is really about changing your approach.
Exactly.
So all you need to do is go to endtheproblem.com/restore.
There we go.
And you're going to take sex and intimacy to a whole new level of connection.
Ooh, I love it. So I'm going to leave the link up, everyone, for those of you who are watching the replay, who will be watching the replay and listening to this podcast episode. Please go to endtheproblem.com/restore. This is a complimentary course. And Jacqui is also offering a limited time offer of a complimentary strategy session, which is valued at $197. I mean, that's amazing. That's an amazing value, everyone. So definitely, check Jacqui's website out and please book that complimentary session and take that complimentary course. So what I would like, I know that this episode will resonate with so many people and inspire them to take action towards improving their relationships and overall well-being. So, Jacqui, can you please share some wisdom, insights, and a special message that you would like to share with the audience today?
So, wisdom.
Because you have a lot of wisdom.
Changing your focus changes your life. It really does. And to move forward, you've got to engage real time. So often we get stuck in our head, worrying, oh my gosh. For me, I have imaginary conversations where I will pick up on a conversation that I was having with someone and explain a point. So if we have these imaginary conversations where we imagine talking about a problem, we're reinforcing that problem because our brain has a filter which makes us notice more of whatever we're focusing our attention on. But the thing is that when we have a problem we don't know how to solve, we're constantly looking for answers to solve that problem. And then on the other hand, when we're experiencing that problem real time, we're trying not to think about it.
Exactly.
Which is the same thing. If you're thinking about a problem, that's the image you're giving your brain.
Exactly.
And as far as a signal, images are very clear signals. So we need to be careful of how we are focusing our attention, focusing our imagination. Our imagination can either fire up stress hormones by thinking about problems, or it can fire up feel-good hormones by thinking about solutions and how we intend to be and feel when we're experiencing our ideal outcomes.
Right, exactly.
And this is where changing your focus changes your life. You're either focused on the problem, where you feel stuck in the problem, where you feel unmotivated because you're triggering stress hormones and they're shutting you down.
Right.
Where you just want to run and hide.
Exactly.
Whereas if you change your focus to, okay, well, now that I know that I'm not broken, I can fix myself. Other people have fixed themselves. 40% of people are experiencing these challenges. And the ones who go through my program tend to be in the percentage that start experiencing happy and fulfilling outcomes. Okay, so people with these chronic problems that the medical have said there's no cure for are providing testimonials and proof that this method works. So I'd like you to be one of my success stories. I'm talking to everyone out there. I want you to be the next success story.
There you go.
And you've got it in you. And all you need to do is take action. Start moving forward. Move forward every day. And like you were saying before, you do steps every day to maintain your equilibrium, to maintain balance, to feel energized. There is that product that you referenced where it helps with your mental focus, with your clarity. If you don't have clarity about what you want, you can't go anywhere. You're like a ship without a rudder. You just keep going around in circles, experiencing the same results.
Right. Not having clarity is like a ship without a rudder. And I totally agree with you. And also, get out of your head into your heart.
Yes.
And push the fear and the anxiety away. And just,
well, when you get into your heart in that present moment, fear and anxiety don't exist.
They don't exist. No. Fear and anxiety have no place in our lives.
They're created up here in our mind.
Right.
They're not real.
Not real. Exactly. Exactly.
Oh, face everything and run.
Yes.
No, face everything and run. Fear everything and run, something like that.
Face
or
everything
face
and
everything and rise.
Right. Face everything and rise. Yes.
I love that.
I love that too. I absolutely love that. This was such an amazing podcast episode and conversation, Jacqui. And to all our listeners, if today's conversation sparked something within you, I highly encourage you to check out Jacqui's complimentary course and take advantage of the bonus strategy session with her. Such an incredible opportunity. So what I'm going to do is put the website up again, and it's endtheproblem.com/restore. Yes. And what I want to say is, if this live episode resonated with you, I would highly encourage you to reach out to Jacqui. And I want to thank you all for tuning into this episode of Let's Break the Silence with Angeline. So please don't forget to subscribe, leave a review, and share this episode with anyone who might benefit from this. Until next time, remember, you have the power to break the silence and create the life that you love. And I wish you all an amazing day, amazing evening, morning, wherever you are tuning in from. Jacqui, please stay in the green room. Thank you so much for enlightening us on this powerful topic, and wish you all an amazing evening.
Thank you so much for having me on the show. Thank you all, and lovely speaking with you.
Lovely speaking with you too.